Congressman Peter King's hearing is going to start on Thursday, and it will focus on American Muslims and whether they've become, quote, radicalized. Kristen Salumi has more on that story from New York.
We know the extent of the threat that we face.
Homegrown Islamic extremism. Congressman Peter King calls it a clear and present danger. He wouldn't speak to AlJazeera, but told Fox News,
"This is a real threat, and I want the American people aware of it, and I want to see also what we're doing to combat it. And also I'm calling on Muslim leaders to be more critical in denouncing it."
But American Muslims are drawing comparisons with Joseph McCarthy's infamous anti-communist hearings of the 1950s. They're joining with leaders from other faiths, calling on King to stop what they describe as a witch hunt.
Violence is not only a Muslim phenomenon, it is in every other communities, and to single out one community to say they are the one that bringing this issue or causing the problem rather than treat them as a solution is wrong. We want to be treated as partner, not as suspect.
Community leaders fear that the hearings will fuel anti-Muslim sentiment and demonstrations like this one, which took place recently at an Islamic charity event in California.
Muslims may be the target of Representative Peter King's hearings, but they're not waiting for an invitation to make their voices heard. They're speaking out with petitions and rallies like this one here in New York's Times Square to present their view of what it means to be Muslim.
We are the #1 trending topic on Twitter and on Facebook.
Celebrities have taken up the cause, standing alongside Muslim Americans even in the rain. Supporters point out that 48 out of 120 terrorist plots in the U.S. were discovered thanks to tips from the Muslim community.
Just because you have the right to build a mosque.
King counters with his own figures. He claims radical imams control more than 80% of American mosques. The New York congressman has his own complicated history with regards to political extremism. He defended the use of violence in civilian settings by the Irish Republican Army in the 1980s and once compared the leader of the group's political wing to George Washington. His critics say he should understand better than anyone that radicalism isn't unique to any one culture.
This is the message that we want to say to Congressman King. Let this be hearings against terrorism, against extremism, against radicalism, and how it comes about, and not make it hearings against Islam and Muslim organizations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank
King shows no sign of backing down. Thursday is expected to be the first of a series of hearings. Kristen Salumi, AlJazeera, New York.
The governor of the U.S. state of Illinois has abolished the death penalty. Governor Pat Quinn also commuted the death sentences of all 15 prisoners on death row. Now, those sentences have been changed to life in prison. Illinois becomes the 16th state in the United States to outlaw the execution of convicted criminals. Mexican police have arrested a man they allege is the finance chief of the Zetas drug gang in connection with the killing of a U.S. immigration official. Jaime Zapata was shot and killed while traveling to Mexico City last month, and Mexican authorities say that they have detained Mario Jimenez along with 16 other suspects. Meanwhile, the Mexican army says that they have killed at least 6 suspected drug gang members in a shootout. The Mexican Defense Department says its soldiers shot back when the gang members fired on an army patrol from a cave in Buena Vista de Cuellar, a town in the southern state of Guerrero. Authorities later found 9 rifles in the area, along with blankets and cooking equipment. Now, yoga has become a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States. The practice is rooted in Hinduism, and some Hindus in the U.S. state of California say that they are unhappy with the way that American popular culture has commercialized some aspects of their religion. In particular, they say that yoga has been stripped of its deeper identity as a spiritual ritual. Rob Reynolds has more.
As you breathe into the back of the body.
The U.S. is in a yoga boom, with about 16 million Americans doing yoga, spending $6 billion a year on lessons, books, and other items. Yoga has become as American as pizza or sushi.
Breathe with expanded awareness.
Many yoga classes feature some quasi-spiritual talk.
We're seeing others in their essence is that which is pulsating as goodness itself.
Others, like Kimberly Fowler's studio in Los Angeles, present yoga simply as good exercise.
If you've never done yoga and you walk into a class and the teacher's talking in Sanskrit and you're like, what are they saying?
But what is often overlooked amid all the stretching, twisting, and twirling is that yoga is a religious ritual, a Hindu ritual. At a temple near San Francisco, a Hindu priest says prayers before an altar. In another corner, a family prays for safe childbirth. There are about 2 million Hindus living in the United States, and many of them are not comfortable with the way their sacred traditions have been appropriated by American popular culture.
We want credit where it is due.
Swaminathan Venkatraman is a board member of the Hindu American Foundation.
Our major concern is that the roots of the practice need to be acknowledged. And we believe in today's modern yoga movement in the US, there is sometimes even a conscious effort to de-link yoga from Hinduism.
And be a force that is uplifting.
While Hindu ideas like karma, guru, and avatar are widely accepted, Hinduism itself is often disrespected.
Sometimes we have, the goddess Lakshmi sitting on Burger King ad, sitting on a burger. We've seen pictures of Ganesh plastered on toilet seats. They think it's cute.
Many faithful Hindus were offended by this news magazine cover depicting President Barack Obama in the pose of the god Shiva performing the cosmic dance. The Hindu American Foundation is pressuring the news media and school book publishers to change their depictions of Hinduism. Someday, they hope, Americans will learn that yoga means more than just a way of looking good in a pair of jeans.
Now stretch the thighs back.
Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Berkeley, California.
That's it from me and the rest of the team here in Washington, D.C. Now let's hand it back to Sammy in Doha.
Thanks so much, Daljeet. We're still ahead on this news hour.
Our first views of Space Shuttle Discovery as it bears down on the Kennedy Space Center, the 2 Air Data Probe.
The Space Shuttle Discovery ends its 39th and final mission as the world's most traveled spaceship. And in sport, co-hosts India move a step closer to the quarterfinals of the Cricket World Cup. The details up next.
Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter. Business Latest is brought to you by Catalum, the most efficient and environmentally friendly aluminium smelter.
A history of guerrilla warfare,